Now we're moving to our models. So this is basically the same as the base model. The only difference is we are adding this high watermark column and a little table here to just for the testing purpose. And then from this year until hurdle, the formulas, they are the same. We still have the AUM equals the prior NAV plus the profit. And then we have the management fee based on prior NAV. And we have the gap that is the prior NAV minus profit and minus management fee. And the hurdle is still 20% of prior NAV. Then come to the performance fee column. The formula changed because now for the hurdle rate model, we will need to compare the gain versus high watermark and the profit versus the hurdle. So I have highlighted these two little rows here. Now let's go through our detail of this. So for a hurdle rate model, we will need to compare the gain versus the high watermark in last period. And then we will see the difference between the profit and the hurdle. So the profit and the hurdle here. And then we will need to use the lesser of these two numbers as our performance fee base. So that's why in the formula here, we will have this formula max to find our positive number, because whenever if the fee base is negative, we're not going to calculate. And then we're going to find the minimum between M15 minus R14, that is M15 here, this gap minus our prior high watermark. And then the other option is we're going to use this profit minus the hurdle. So we are going to pick up the lesser of these two numbers as our fee base. And then whenever there's a positive number in the fee base column, we're going to make it a times 20% of the performance fee rate. Then we will have our NAV, that is the gap after performance fee. And then we have this new formula here, high watermark. High watermark is just to pick up the bigger number between the current NAV and the prior high watermark. And on the right hand side, we have this little testing here. So we need to have both criteria met. For example, in the first year, yes, we do have a gap larger than high watermark, and then we do have profit cover all the hurdle. Then yes, we're going to charge. Then the next year, despite we do have a gap larger than prior high watermark, we don't have enough profit to cover the hurdle. That's why we don't charge here. That's why you see all these zero here. So when we come to our little blocks, we have the same as our base model, and we still have our management fee here. And then now we're going to pick up the lesser of these two numbers. In this case, we're going to pick up this $70,000 times 20%. That's why this is $14,000 as our performance fee. So this row is for our second criteria of a test. Well, so whenever you see the negative number here, there's no performance fee. And also this line is our first testing. So this little table, it's the same thing on the right hand side here. So it's just to explain the details in two different ways. If you have no problem understand these little tables, then you don't need to see these little blocks. These are just a help to visualize the numbers. Now we're going to change our model a little bit before we move to the soft hurdle model. So for the management fee, in prior model, we have it based on the NAV. So here, we're going to change a little bit to be based on AUM. As we mentioned earlier, the management fee, they could be based on commitment, AUM, or NAV. So here, we just change a little bit. And then we can tell there's a slight difference after we change the management fee base. So in the prior model, by the end of the year 10, we have 34,321. But then here we have a little bit of difference by the end of year 10. On the right hand side, this little table just to show the negative numbers to do a comparison. Instead, we have this performance based the same. And this is just the testing to determine which time period is eligible to charge a performance fee. And this is just the blocks to illustrate the numbers above. And one more thing is in my private equity accounting and financial reporting course, we did a 1 year entries and eventually generate our financials on the year end. In that model, I did a little testing for the performance fee as well. And this is a result based on numbers we have from that model. And this is just for reference, and we will walk through these details in my other course.